Well, good morning or good afternoon to you all. How are you doing today? Welcome to Zycel's Tech Talk. My name is Tri Nguyen. I am one of the product managers, marketing development managers here at Zycel North America. And I'm here to just like chat with you and talk about how on this topic of the new year, bringing new budgets along and having new recurring revenue opportunities for your business and your partnership and working with end customers today. So this tech talk is something that I want you to be interactive with. So if you want to use the chat box or the Q&A section of the Zoom, feel free to send a message during the to deliver the content, and I'll try to answer them as we go along, especially if you have any questions. But there's a lot of different topics today that I want to kind of cover, in bringing you maybe something that you didn't think about that Zycel may have that may give you some new opportunities in this coming year. We know that new budgets are coming because people are resetting. There's a lot of uncertainty of a lot of these budgets out there too as well, and we'd love to hear your feedback. I know our sales team is always wanting to talk to you and see how the business is moving, how is the market, how's the field, what's happening out there, on the front lines that you guys are facing. How can we help with all of that, and then how can we deliver messages that will appeal to maybe help you with the end customers in moving Zycel products. So I just wanted to jump in and give a little bit of background into who Zycel is. If you haven't already known like what Zycel, if you haven't attended one of these tech talks before, this might be new to you if you haven't. So Zycel Networks is a company that's been around for 30 years. We've been established since 1989. Over 100 million devices making global connections worldwide. We have 150 markets with 600 plus employees worldwide and connecting over 700,000 businesses using Zycel solutions. We are internationally recognized for our innovation and our design for all of the different products that we make, pretty much across the board. Anything that we have out there, a lot of them have won different awards for those items, and we're prideful of that. We're also, proud that we are one of the few vendors that have been certified through ICSA for the last 20 years. And we're just one of those few vendors who have done that with our products, especially our firewall products and our security product lines. We are solutions driven. So if you have solutions needs, not just a single product, but you want a whole, end-to-end type solution, Zycel has something that will deliver to you and to your clients. Most of my customers, when I tell them, just think about Zycel as a complete networking vendor for small businesses and small enterprise type solutions. We develop our products from hardware and software. So that means your feedback and your customers' feedback is very important to us in order for us to establish what products, how to make it, what works best, maybe what the market size is, what products may fit into your markets, and even those products that are currently out there, how can we make and put product and feature sets out there that can further benefit you from a management standpoint, from an installation standpoint, and also from your customer, what's the benefits for that ecosystem. So definitely reach out to us. We want to hear your feedback. We offer a comprehensive portfolio end to end for our networking products. So security appliances, wireless solutions, internet switching, backend PoE, gateway hotspot solutions, and network management solutions. So that's kind of in a nutshell what Zycel Networks does here. And we established ourselves in the North America headquarters. So the different topics that kind of cover that have maybe give you some opportunity. Zycel has been working in the healthcare, providing networking services there or networking products for partners who are providing into those areas. Restaurants and cafes being able to do maybe PCI compliancy or HIPAA compliancy with the healthcare. Hotspot capabilities in the hospitality or maybe in the restaurants and cafes. Internet security for education. Also PCI maybe in the retail. There's a lot of different networks that are out there. And if you are not in a specific one, we'd love to help you figure out maybe how you can get into those other areas as well, because there are partners and there are customers in all of those different spaces. So I think it's a matter of maybe you have come from a voice over IP kind of side of things and you're moving into the networking and you're being asked to install hotspots or install networks on top of the VoIP network that you already are deploying. So if you're being pulled over to those kinds of areas, again, we can help you with looking at maybe there are certain fits, or maybe for us to help train you into those capacities so that you can take advantage of all of these, potentially all of these types of applications. So there's a lot of different areas, and even within each one, you can decide, is it a recurring revenue kind of opportunity that you're looking for? Are there just like an installation or maybe configuration, or even as a service to provide maybe a network management to determine, hey, are you, PCI compliant? Are you HIPAA compliant? Or are you working through that? So there's a lot of different areas, I think, that you can really dive into and have opportunity with this. And Zycel providing the backbone, providing a lot of the security appliances, the Wi-Fi, the switching networks, really gives you an opportunity to go in and provide the hardware infrastructure that then you can layer on your add-on, basically management services to manage those hotspots, manage those retail services and things like that. Even within the education market, I think that's one of the few that's untapped for us. We do have a few of worldwide. We have a lot more worldwide, but in the US, I think a lot of it is maybe just relational. A lot of the schools and a lot of the school districts around tend to have maybe like a relationship with maybe a VAR or vendor that they just go with, and whatever they install is what they go with. So that's a little bit harder to break in. But hey, maybe if you do have those relationships and you want to look at some other opportunities or other alternatives to what's out there, you can always check us out, and we have applications that will fulfill those needs. One of those applications is Wi-Fi. We know that people are using mobile devices a lot, even especially now, and even more so people with higher connectivities that are being available. But people use it a lot. They use 5 hours a day on average, and there's billions and billions of devices that are out there that making connections. So Wi-Fi connectivity, cellular connectivities, but a lot of people are moving. So when they are roaming within the different locations, they want to be on like a hotspot, and we obviously want to make sure that the Wi-Fi connectivity is of highest quality. I think that's the biggest complaint that people may have even at home, is how when they're making their connections, when they're trying to access their websites or their email, if their home Wi-Fi is not good, right, is not functioning well, then there is major issues. There's a lot of tech support calls, or either loss of productivity, or in some cases, people may just switch over to cellular or something like that to try to get a better connection. And so Wi-Fi is the easiest one to kind of, it's the easiest for people to complain about, because you can get no signal, or you can have poor quality of signal, but it also is the most difficult to probably troubleshoot. I don't know about you, but I've done like Wi-Fi installations, done Wi-Fi site surveys, and those are the most difficult ones, because you have very little real visibility, right? You are looking at some data sets, you're looking at some signal strength data information to try to guess, how that's going to kind of work out. And especially when you're planning, you have no clue what maybe certain devices may exist in there, certain PIM devices or point of sales. And we don't know what kind of interactions and those kinds of wireless cards are available on those devices either. So you almost have to make a worst case scenario guess and try to figure out, how do I deploy this? And even that in itself, that opportunity of being able to provide that kind of service and expertise is an opportunity for partners out there. We have some partners who pretty much specialize in doing heat maps, doing installations. So we've actually partnered with a company called Ekahau, and they provide a software that you can utilize and to do site surveys with our equipment, virtually in the device. So we've configured it to give it a lot of information about the product, about its Wi-Fi behaviors, and you can use that to put down a kind of a heat map, and also use that to analyze a real heat map scenario, and then be able to make different decisions on how to best provide Wi-Fi into those networks. So if you're interested in something like that, let us know. We can send you some more information on that kind of Wi-Fi, but it's really cool. Puts down a heat map. You drag and drop different Zyxel devices in there, and it kind of shows you a general coverage. The cool thing about their software as well is it takes into account, you can put in the building layouts, you can put in some more information like maybe the materials of the building, how the walls are constructed, and so that it can help to analyze a lot of the Wi-Fi performance in there. We also want users to become more aware, or at least the IT become more aware of the users that are on there. And this is another type of service that you can provide. And a lot of maybe partners have no clue how to do it. We have things and tools such as a Secu Reporter or Nebula that allows for you to do some deep analysis on the users there and be able to provide information and maybe the risk potentials that are there and display any alerts and alarms that come into play. So if you're looking at becoming like a managed service provider to provide reporting to a customer and saying, you know, we're going to watch over your network, we're going to provide you information about who is on your network and what kind of applications they're using, how much bandwidth, if you're being attacked in a report, everything like that, definitely take a look at Secu Reporter, Nebula. We have partners who are doing that, providing it either as an add-on or a value add to their services already, or providing it as an a la carte where they may charge a monthly fee to provide that kind of management service. Kurt asked, what's the name of the company that allows you to site survey for Wi-Fi? It's Ekahau. It's like EU, I think it's EUK. I need to look up what the exact spelling. It's like it's a European country, a European company that provides it. But it's like an EU, it's EU something, Ekahau. So I need to look up actually the spelling of that for you then. So definitely that's one way. I think a lot of people, the information that you don't have when you are using network management or just doing sort of networking, if you're doing an installation where you're just installing in a break fix scenario, you usually don't get information back except for when you're trying to troubleshoot something, when you're trying to look up, maybe why the network is down. The spelling here, thank you, David. It's E-K-A-H-A-U, Ekahau. Yeah, E-K-A-H-A-U. Yeah, that's the spelling. That's the company that provides that Wi-Fi site survey that ties in with the Zycel equipment. So yeah, definitely to be able to find those security risks and be able to use that to troubleshoot. Not only does that benefit you when you're a managed service provider to allow for you to know before the customer. I think maybe some of us here have had those calls where people would call in and say, did you know my network's not working or my internet's down? And it's kind of embarrassing from you as the provider or you as the network manager didn't know that it was down, right? If you didn't have those kind of things in place, it could have been down at 2 a.m, but because nobody was there, they didn't notice that it was down until 9 o'clock, right? Until they got into work. So using tools like Secu Reporter and Nebula really gives you that insight on what's going on the network and be able to provide value saying, well, why should I pay, $20 a month? That and forget it, right? But there are a lot of information, a lot of security type things that may come into play that you need visibility for so that you can give them in a report form and really show them value. You can imagine in every month you provide a report that says, these are all the attacks, these are all your users that are currently connected, how much bandwidth they're using, what websites they may be going to, or what their top hits are, and provide all that information to the management, to that company, and really show that value that you are actively, monitoring and watching your network and taking action as necessary, as well as managing, the configurations of the security. And that's something, another topic that we'll talk about too. So using that cloud management, such as Nebula, really allows for you to go after a lot of those applications that we saw earlier, retail, maybe just branch officing connections, campuses, hotels for hospitality, making retail connectivity for management of different devices and things like that, being able to use system to manage the hardware all within the same cloud. And not only just for management of the hardware, but gives you that visibility, gives you that reporting as well in the cloud. So that you can see when, if a network goes down, you can also use it to find analysis of people's utilization, bandwidth utilization. You can find where the trouble spots are. It could be that one access point is really getting bombarded with bandwidth because so many people are connected to that. And you can then see that and be able to take action maybe put another access point in that facility or in that area to provide better coverage to maybe load balance them as well. So cloud is definitely, and cloud provides that natural recurring revenue opportunity. Now, of course, if you're looking at with Nebula, we also offer a free side as well. So if you're looking just from a free management for a basic management, you can offer that as a tier. But of course, then you won't get maybe the reporting that you may want to be able to deliver. So that's where you have an opportunity to maybe upsell into a higher tier to provide some added level of management and services. For you, especially from the managed service provider side, you want to go to the professional, whether or not you're going to charge the customer, because it does give you some applicational advantages, things like being able to clone different sites. So let's say you have multiple customers that have multiple stores. So a retail store may, let's say, have a chain of like 15 different locations. You're actually able, as you're deploying, be able to clone those stores because they probably will look and function very similarly. Pretty much a lot of those builds are identical. You will just clone them once you have a good test site, and that will be able to duplicate itself into all the other locations. And then you just have to ship off product to be active within that location. We also have features like connected Facebook Wi-Fi. And this is also another opportunity that you can leverage within our firewalls and in our Nebula system as well. Anything that has like a hotspot functionality, we've implemented this Facebook Wi-Fi. And what Facebook Wi-Fi allows for you to do is be able to capture some information. They have to use their Facebook to log in it sends it off to Facebook to do the authentication. So we've integrated with Facebook, and then it allows for them to go onto the Wi-Fi. You get to know some of the demographic information from that that you can use within your business Wi-Fi, maybe to provide maybe a splash page, provide the walled garden function that maybe show different advertisements. Let's say it's within a local mall. There you can provide the Facebook Wi-Fi login. People who log into that maybe get targeted coupons, or you can sell ad space within that walled garden to the different stores, so that when people are logging into the hotspot, they are given an opportunity to see maybe the coupon available and maybe some deals that goes to a specific store. And so that's how you can potentially monetize even a free type login. Now, on top of that, maybe people are logging in for free Wi-Fi with Facebook, but you can also work with tiered environments where they can get free access with the Facebook Wi-Fi, but then there could be a higher bandwidth paid access so that they can utilize maybe higher bandwidth, or they're doing VPNs. You can use that as a paying model, and you could tie that into PayPal and some other things as well. So our unified gateways, all of our firewalls have access to the hotspot functionalities that you have to license to add that hotspot solution, but it allows for you to do traffic shaping and also tiered billing. So that's what I mentioned earlier. Maybe the free account has a very low bandwidth. It's enough to check emails. It's enough to download some emails and maybe go to websites, but it's maybe not good for streaming any kind of content, or maybe not HD content. So you can say, hey, that's the free tier, but if you want to upgrade to the media plus, or maybe the business class tier, it may give you then access to higher bandwidth, so higher upload download speeds that lets you watch Netflix or whatever, gives you better bandwidth for that, and be able to control that. And of course, all of the solutions allow for you to do client isolation, preventing people from seeing each other. You can have a one-click ticket support, where you may have a point of sale ticket machine that people can utilize to get maybe 1 day access or 1 hour access. And it's very flexible. It's 3 buttons. You can choose and you can deploy up to 10 different printers within that network. So you can imagine maybe in a hospitality, they may have, a ticketing system at the front desk. They may have another one by the pool side within that network, and be able to provide guest network access with, kind of controlled over it. So we know there's some places that are just wide open. The Wi-Fi is just open and people are connecting to it. But then there's others that allow for a need to have some sort of control. And so that it gives you the flexibility for that. Or what we have a lot of deployments in actually libraries that use the hotspot functionality and control it by the ticket, because they may or not they may not encourage, maybe from the student's perspective, is not a good thing. But the library may say, well, you can't just stay here and camp out and sleep and eat, drink, and basically live out of the library, all day long. So we're going to limit you, so that we can get some people, some room or some space or whatever it is through that ticketing system. So you have to go up every 2 hours or whatever to get a new username, password, that will expire in 2 hours, right? There's that control over that. And we also see coffee shops, people who don't even buy anything from the coffee shop and yet come onto the network and just utilize the internet connectivity. So, and there's no space for any other patrons who may want to sit down and actually have, their coffee. So that's another way that they're using to control it as well. What I'm also finding with all the hotspot solutions is that we have to give, by default, most hotels, in order to get the higher ratings on their star ratings, need to put a free internet access, within that, within their hotel stay. But I think this is a monetization opportunity for people to be able to, and for you as partners to deliver to your customers as actually a revenue opportunity. I think a lot of hotels, the biggest issues that hotels are having to try to upgrade, to newer Wi-Fi technologies, or to upgrade to, 11 AC or even AX, is the cost of the hardware, for pretty much no return, right? They have to invest $10, $20, $30,000 to revamp their network just so that they can maintain, their star rating, within the hotel, directory. And being able to have to spend all that money, it's a really huge investment. So there's there's an opportunity here with using hotspot functionality where you can still offer that free tiered service and gives you all of the amenities that are required for it, and be able to charge a nominal fee just for maybe enhanced connectivity. And you can imagine, I think, we're on business a lot, and when you go to a hotel, especially for business use, if a hotel offers maybe a higher tier, or maybe something that you need for VPN connectivity back to your office, charging a $5 or even a $10 a day, or even putting it within the bill itself, depending on the situation, is not really that much, right? And so being able to give a free tier, charging a nominal fee, you could just imagine doing the math here. So here's an example. Let's say you only charge a $2 daily access nominal fee that gives you 10 megs download a second. And if you only had, let's say, 10 people do that a day, that's $20 a day times 30 days. That's $600 a month that you're earning in just a $2 nominal fee for $10. And I'm being very conservative on that, but you can imagine something being that nominal, $1 or $2 like that, people are going to jump on it. And so that is one way for partners can use to even go in and partner with the hotel and do maybe a revenue share. Say, hey, we're going to offer the hardware for you. We're going to upgrade your networking system. And here's maybe the entry level cost. And that kind of covers a lot of maybe the initial hardware, or most of the hardware cost. Or even worked out, in a contract form, where as long as we're part of the contract. But you can probably see that even at $600 a month, and I'm using that as a low number, you can do the math, but that could, easily within, a year, 6 months to a year, it can eventually pay for, the hardware in itself. And of course, the hotel would be a benefit if it's a revenue share opportunity there as well. So it's a win-win for a lot of situations. Being able to have data retention, be able to have information when something happens, and be able to provide those logs to maybe authorities or investigative things like that. Customizable captive portals, that's really important as well. You can even provide a service to host captive portals for hotels. So that's another opportunity that you can come and do an entirely side business where you're just hosting pages for these kinds of hotspot applications, or maybe even radius authentication, and being able to use that for people to be able to roam with the different hotels. But you can customize those portals, have that hotel have a very specific one. Even when those portals pop up, you can add different advertisements, maybe local businesses food eating areas, places to go, places to eat, right? All within there. And you, again, you can sell that ad space when people log on to that particular hotel. So it's really a great opportunity to be able to handle, to give that customization, to be able to do that. And like I mentioned just earlier, radius authentication, billing support management in the portal as well for those guests, to be able to pay through it using PayPal. Radius integration is really good if you have access to that or have some capabilities of doing that, because then you can have hotels, or maybe multiple hotels, or maybe an owner who has a lot of hotels. You can make it so it's integrated, so that when you log in or when you buy service, when you pay for a higher tiered service, you can roam between the different hotels. So you can think about doing even monthly plans, right, for people who may be going to different resorts, or within an area where, let's say it's Disney World, and there was, all the different the regions and the kingdoms that are there. You can have a radius integration that allows for, hey, if you bought hotspot at this hotel, you can then go to any of the other resort hotels that you are have tickets for dinner or whatever it is, and be able to have access to all of it, and have access to that using that same account. So you can see there's a lot of different opportunities, kind of things that just, come into my mind as I'm just talking through this all as well. You can do the external portal, like I mentioned, like a hosted. You can use the device itself to host some of the login page information, or you can go very basic and just go with a user agreement captive portal, being able just to collect maybe the name, the email address, these optional informations. And then as long as they agree to those terms, they're allowed access to the internet. Right. So you can do however strict or as easy as you want to provide that connectivity. And we also then have PayPal integration as well with our products. So you can use payment with PayPal. So people are choosing the different tiers. If they're looking for a 30-minute tier, maybe it's free. And then if you pay for the 1 day or more, then you can charge a nominal fee, however you decide to do that. And you can figure that within our printers as well that connect into that. Right. So really, I think Hotspot, now with 5G connectivity, kind of opens up even a bigger opportunity with, my mind thinks about, not right now, but back in the day when maybe you would have, concerts outdoor, and trying to provide maybe customers with internet connectivity. And especially now with 5G connectivity and 5G hotspots, if you tied into one of our firewalls, maybe one of our gateways that provide this hotspot connectivity, you can imagine being able to offer a nominal fee internet connection, let's say for whatever it is, and be able to provide, either hotspot connectivity, provide walled garden splash information that you can provide within a kiosk. You can deploy a kiosk wherever you can find power. It can get internet connectivity through 5G. It can then provide you the hotspot connectivity and provide services or advertisement for services within the area. So there's a lot of different things that can go on that can provide you some different opportunities there. The other opportunity, of course, is within the security line. I talked about this a little bit earlier in our Usg Flex line, and providing security for networks, being able to protect customers from the security threats that are out there, maybe ransomware, cryptojacking, malware, inappropriate content, even in a public hotspot. So this can be combined with that hotspot functionality to maybe control what kind of content as well. You may have certain hotspots that are free kind of in nature and are just wide open. But you may notice that some of those activities may be utilizing a lot more of the bandwidth, and really is bogging down the overall Wi-Fi connectivity of and Wi-Fi quality of those customers and those people who are on that network. And malware is a big thing, just making sure that your network is safe. And using SPI firewall curtains right now is not enough for that process. So really being able to provide a service on that, on something that is, most people have no clue or no idea that it's happening. They may just hear it on the news. They may see, hey, this is, something that I know happens, but how do I even, visualize it? How do I even see what's going on? How do I even know if I'm protected or not? And a lot of these security functionalities that you have access to really gives you that. And also the tools, like I said, Nebula or the Secu Reporter tied in with our firewalls, gives you that visibility that you can really show to your customers that, hey, I'm blocking viruses. Hey, I'm controlling who's going to what content, what websites they're going to. I'm blocking certain applications, like people trying to use BitTorrent or things like that. Or maybe traffic that's coming from different countries that maybe not be maybe not shouldn't be required or shouldn't be allowed. So there's a lot of that built into the security functions of our firewalls, and it's a matter of just using the reporting and things to get access to that information and to be able to provide that information to the customer. So that's why having the information is so important to deliver really that message of how and why this is a beneficial product. Now, I do know a lot of customers who come to us and say, like, they come with a problem. They either say, hey, I've come, I need help because my business has been hit with ransomware and I'm not sure how to control that. Can you provide some sort of service to do that, or hardware? Or they'll come and say, I have a problem. My employees are going to these sites and watching these YouTube or Netflix. How do I control that? Or maybe in a hospitality. This is a big problem too. With the public network, you need a way to be able to block peer-to-peer connectivity downloads. So people using things like BitTorrent to download illegal music and software. You may have customers who say, hey, my ISP just contacted me and said, and sent us a cease and desist letter and claiming that we've downloaded, these movies, or a lot of the companies that are out there, they may be going after these internet service providers or the end user or the hotel or hospitalities, and saying that these kinds of illegal activities are happening. You need to either stop or we're going to disconnect your connection. So that's a big deal for you to be able to offer that as a service that say, hey, we can give you visibility of that. And we can also block that kind of activity as well. So being able to control and see who's trying to download, be able to block those kinds of applications is very important, and be able to provide that as a monitoring or like a management service. We have partners who are doing that today. So again, if you're not in that field now, we can help to provide you some information and try to help you get up to speed with that. Now, with kind of the help with getting you up to speed, if you log into our VAR portal site, you'll be able to see some additional educational tools that we've just now launched that helps you get up to speed with a lot of our firewall products, our Nebula products, and our switching type products. So take a look at that, log into your VAR account if you haven't, into the VAR portal, and check that out. We also sent out an email recently as well, just letting you know about that VAR portal. So if you might want to check to see if you have that, and check that out. Our Usg Flex is our high performance UTM system, and it has, again, that ability to do hotspot management, be able to deploy Wi-Fi access points, and be able to manage them and provision them all in the single hardware. And we are a lot faster than what we used to be in the UTM performance. So 125% increase in the firewall performance, up to a 500% increase in our UTM performance compared to the previous generation. And we've also tried to make it as easy as possible to transfer over. So our portfolio consists of the Usg Flex 100, 200, 500. We just recently launched the 100W and also the 700. So you want to check that out. And it's all basically based on performance and what you need in terms of UTM performance. If you're doing UTM, you can buy these products in a non-UTM bundle as well. So you just need it for the SPI firewall and the VPN functionality and the management, and also the reporting. So the reporting, you can use it in a standalone. You can manage it in SecuReporter, and also soon to be within Nebula. Actually, it should be first quarter next year. And with our security services, if you already are deploying USGs out there, maybe by show of hands, how many of you already have not the USG Flex, but the previous generation or the current like USG models, like the USG 40s, the 60s, the 110, 210, 310, those kinds of USGs. So you're sitting on a gold mine opportunity within the next year. Thank you, Jamie, Chad, Stephen. Thank you for that. They give you now, and James, a latecomer, we have a opportunity for you to go to those customers who have existing USGs and be able to give them an opportunity to upgrade to a newer platform. And the newer platform obviously can do a much higher throughput speed, as you saw earlier. And we made it easier for you to do that. Maybe some customers, the previous generation or the previous times, whenever we had like an upgrade, most people waited or had to wait until their UTM services were, pretty much like, end of its time frame, because they've paid for a year's service, or maybe, whatever's left, and they may have like say 6 months left. You typically want to upgrade to a new product and just, waste basically, or have a difficult time to try to transfer those services to the new product. But we've made it a lot easier. We've basically said, we're going to help you with the migration process. So as the customer needs to go to a newer hardware platform, and right now the opportunity is that there's a lot higher internet speeds that are becoming available in many more locations. And people are saying, hey, my firewall can no longer push enough traffic and still maintain the security level that we need to operate. So you either had to trade off security to give more speed, or you had to just have less speed, right, to maintain the security. Now, this Usg Flex offers the best of both worlds and be able to provide you a higher speed connectivity and also maintain maximum security for that network. And so we are offering in a way, so let's say in this kind of worst case scenario, this particular customer who has a USG may have 7 months left on their content filtering services, 4 months on their IDP, 2 months on their malware, 3 months on their emails, and 5 months left on their SecuReporter services, because they were a la carte, because you can buy them a la carte and you can activate them all at different times. So they have different like termination points, right? So this is kind of a worst case scenario. But even then, what we do is when you switch over to a Usg Flex, you can actually transfer, and you can do that through the My Zycel platform, where you manage all of your security licenses and be able to activate to the new device. And what we'll do is we will extend and level off or normalize or co-terminate all of the other services to the one that had the most period left. So since the content filtering had 7 months left and it was the most, we're going to extend all the other services all to match at 7 months. So they all expire at the same time. So that transfer will feel, as a benefit to customers, and be able to give them, a sense that they're not wasting any of their services before. Now that's just transferring it to a non-bundled, so just a hardware only platform. But what happens if you want to decide, hey, the customer wants to go to another year's worth of service? So adding a Usg Flex to a bundle. Well, the Usg Flex bundle comes with 1 year's worth of service, but we'll do the same normalization on whatever was left on the previous USG and push that as a add-on. So in this case scenario, we have the 12-month bundle. We're going to tack on 7 months from the previous. We'll transfer it over. And now this new Usg Flex will have 19 months of services there. So again, it becomes really an advantage. We also have trade-in programs that allow for you to get discounts on the new Usg Flex if you are trading it in from either a competitive model or from a previous USG model. You can get extended discounts on that Usg Flex bundle. So definitely, again, reach out to your sales rep how to do that trade-in program through the partner portal, so that we can get you the best benefits. And you could either pass that along to your customers. It can be up to like 25% discount on that trade-in. So we're able to push that through, and you're able to either pass it on to your customers, giving them a deal. We're also looking at doing some partner programs as well for a Usg Flex upgrade kind of time frame. So we may have that coming in the near future as well. So just keep an eye out for that. So that's, and again, more things that you can use to get your customers to maybe transfer over to the new platform. That gives them better support, gives them better speeds, and be able to provide them a better, I think, quality of service, especially again if they're looking at upgrading to a new platform. But I think anybody who's up for renewal, if you look at the pricing and things like that, you could see an advantage to be able to jump from the USG all the way to the Usg Flex equivalents. And so here's a service mapping of where you want to go. USG 40s go to the 100, USG 60s go to the Usg Flex 200s, the 110s and the 210s go to the Flex 500s, and the Usg 310s go to the Flex 700s. If you're looking at higher end models of USG, your probably better bet is to go to the ATP product line to doing that higher speed at the higher throughputs. And I mentioned myzycel.com. If you don't have an account, if you have not installed a USG product before, this is definitely a place that you need to go. Or if you haven't made an account because of Nebula, things like that, MyZycel is kind of the central place where you get to manage your customers' licenses, or even your licenses for your products if you're managing those products. One thing, if you are a partner, a Zyxel approved partner, make sure at the very top, when you log into MyZycel, at the very top, it says request reseller view. You want to request that because we are, once approved, you get to be able to be on the list of VAR partners when somebody installs a device, and including yourself. So let's say you install a device for your customer. In one of the fields within the device, you can choose the VAR, the managing VAR. And so you can choose yourself there. And what that allows for you to do is when you log into your account, you get visibility of those devices that you're managing. So you can see your customers' devices to manage the licensing for them. In order to manage the device itself, you still have to log directly into the device. But from the licensing standpoint, you can then run reports. You can see who is expiring over the next month or two. You can see who in your database or in your contacts that you've sold to and that you're managing. Maybe somebody's coming up for renewal in the next 2 or 3 months, and maybe they are a prime candidate for you to offer Usg Flex to them and be able to use these, this licensing co-termination, and making it easy for them to migrate from a USG, which they maybe already have been using for a long time and really love the services that are available to that, and naturally move over to the equivalent USG Flex. Now you'll notice too, I did say that there was a mapping. Actually, let me go back to that screen real quick. USG 40 goes to USG Flex 100, but we also have put in the price list in our listings and things like that. It's going to be called a USG 40 version 2, like a V2. So that way it helps for you, especially during this kind of transition period, maybe from the naming convention, that you'll know that the USG Flex 100 is equivalent to the USG 40 version 2, right? So that will help for you to adopt and adapt to the new naming convention, and also to your customers as well. They may be used to saying, hey, well, we had a USG 40. So then you just can tell the customer, well, I'm going to give you the USG 40 version 2. This is the new generation of the USG 40. It's called the USG Flex 100, right? But it's all within the naming. Even on the belly label itself is dual named at the moment. And even on the packaging, on the box labels on the side will also say USG Flex version 2 as well. So that will help with that migration. You can buy, the other thing, the reason why you want to use a MyZycel as well, we've introduced a product or a system called Marketplace. And Marketplace allows for you to actually buy and actually renew subscription services directly within MyZycel without having to enter in a license key or anything like that. So it's important that you're able to manage your customer devices here, or you would have to log into their customer's device. But we have some ways that in case you need to buy license keys for a partner that you don't manage, within the Marketplace, you can click on what we call Marketplace Express that allows for you to still buy license keys specifically. But we're trying to make it easier for you to renew, because you can just choose the customer's device or your device that you want to renew. It will tell you, here's the bundle packaging. You can click into that to choose the a la carte if you like to split it up and just buy certain services and not the bundle. Go through a checkout process, and that's it. The licenses are going to be renewed and be able to update within the MyZycel system automatically. So when the device just checks back for its latest licensing, it will eventually will say, hey, here's the new extension of the license. It'll just give it basically a new expiration date at that point. So it's very important to do that, to get to the Marketplace. The other thing that's also important that you want to request to your sales rep is to have access to the Marketplace pricing, because what we have to do is we have to load you, we have to approve your MyZycel account, your account login with the partner pricing, so that when you do go through the Marketplace checkout process, you're getting your appropriate discounts as you would as a partner, as if you bought it through, let's say, distribution for that. So we can manage that within the marketplace system. So again, reach out to your dedicated sales rep for your region and let them know your Zycel login account, just the email address that you use to manage your devices. And that way, again, we can load that in. And also that email address, your email address for Zycel, becomes also a coupon code to give you the discounts in that Marketplace Express that I talked about. So that Express gives you access to the bundled licensing with the keys itself, or keys for VPN, the VPN licenses, because they are a third party, like a Zycel, outside, not third party, but outside software that you have to actually put a key into your local devices. Those kinds of one-time keys you have to buy through that Express, the Marketplace Express side. Also, any kind of Nebula licenses or Nebula credits you can buy through my Marketplace Express as well. But again, you have to use your email for Zycel as the coupon code that we load for you. I know that's a lot of information, but I just wanted to let you know of that, because it's maybe a little confusing or maybe new to you. And so we want to make sure you have that. Another opportunity that you have is being able to sell Zycel products for AWS and Microsoft Azure in the cloud. You have to use a product in order to connect to certain services or cloud services with Amazon, with Microsoft. You have to use a certified hardware device. And we are actually one of only 7 brands in the world that has a VPN gateway, all of our VPN products that are validated by both AWS and Microsoft Azure. So this is a great opportunity if you're deploying into that kind of network. Maybe the office is doing a cloud-based DNS server, cloud-based email server, cloud-based server share, or maybe they're doing Salesforce or something that is running off the cloud in a cloud instance with the Amazon cloud, but you need the connectivity to make it there. So you have to use an AWS certified firewall with VPC to make that connection into their network. And so we've certified our products for those, and we're listed within even the Amazon listings on approved products that can qualify and be used for this application. And I think that's one of the untapped ones too. We haven't seen a huge number of customers who have come back to tell, because I think most of them don't know that this exists. And so they're just going with maybe some recommended one that's out there, but they don't realize that the Zycel equipment that they are using or already selling now have that capability. So again, being able to connect to that Amazon and Microsoft cloud. Standalone management in the hospitality is kind of like what maybe a typical hospitality would work, using a USG or using a Usg Flex to provide that hotspot capability for that hospitality. Being able to connect multiple networks, being able to manage maybe a guest network access on a separate VLAN from the voice or maybe the video networks of that system. So we can really build a full-on ecosystem to provide like full hospitality capabilities from the switching network, from the wireless network, and from the gateway to provide those different services. Walled gardens for just customers who are on the guest network access. But if people are on the paid Wi-Fi network or on the staff, they don't get hit with the walled garden or the promotion pages and things like that. So you can have many different kind of application solutions within just even the hospitality on where you want to provide services. And you can provide management services with IPTV, with a lot of our GS22 series and within their Nebula, being able to get reporting for even IPTV services. So let's say you wanted to go into IPTV, be able to show your hotel customers what channels are most watched, who's watching those channels, and things like that. Information and data that may be useful for those hotels, and be able to monitor it, be able to, again, provide you some information that you can provide to your hotel customer on why your monitoring and why your information that you're providing to them is beneficial and worthy of whatever the monthly payments that you're doing to manage those networks. So that's kind of the cool, again, application that you can do with that. With education, being able to offer not only the Wi-Fi connectivity for the students, be able to provide high throughput connectivity with our wireless, also be able to load balance in those scenarios, because a lot of classrooms may have, 20, 30, or even up to 50 devices all in there. Or even now, because of remote learning, be able to provide high connectivity and high information on that, so that you can do not only for the local students, maybe in our districts, we have maybe a lot of split learning, where half of the students are coming to the schools so that they can be spread out. And on the other half, or the other third, they're all being social learning or distance learning. So there's a combination of that going on, where the teacher has to have the opportunity to provide the connectivity with interactive whiteboards, and be able to do the Zoom connectivities or the video connectivities while they are in the classroom, but the students are at home. So there's a lot of that connectivity going on as well, provide that kind of services. But even with the students that are maybe in the campuses now who are still attending, being able to offer services like content filtering, or even blocking of illegal, or maybe, improper use of the connectivity, downloading music or videos and things like that, being able to block it at the firewall, so you can offer that kind of service as well within that kind of application. And what you'll notice too is a lot of the networks will look very similar. It's just the applications on what you block and what you allow can change, and depending on the situation for that. And then the cloud management scenario, like I mentioned earlier already, being able to have that visibility from all the different type of applications under one roof. And that's really where I think a lot of the benefits, if you've never been a managed service provider to provide networking services, Nebula is going to help you with that. It's an all-in-one kind of managed services IT platform within the cloud, not only from the cloud solution, from the software, from the management, but also the hardware provided as well. So it's really hassle-free. We offer it as a free management tool with a pro management capability. So you have a lot of beneficial functions in the professional version of it, but some customers may just need some basic management. So you have that ability to still offer that as a free service. Things like setting it up without even unboxing the product, being able to just add devices using your Nebula application on a mobile device, or just putting in the serial information and MAC address information into your Nebula account, and putting those devices onto your customer, and then be able to configure those devices virtually before the product is even powered up for the first time. So you're able to configure those devices without even having to unbox it. You can get yourselves up and running within minutes, being able to, once the device logs in, it is able to get internet connectivity. It will ask for, hey, who do I belong to? What customer do I belong to? And what's my configuration? And all of that gets pushed down to the product when they're able to get internet connectivity and get all the configurations that you've maybe already preloaded. And then once they are logged into the Nebula system, you have complete visibility of it. You have complete configuration of that device in the cloud. And because it's in the cloud, there's no additional hardware or software that you require to use it. So it's already within the entire Nebula system. There are agents that talk to Nebula are built into the devices themselves. So you don't need any additional hardware to throw on the network. There's no additional cloud keys, or you don't have to install another machine, or you don't have to install another hardware device just to get that Nebula access. So you can basically plug and play, and makes it really easy for people to do the installations for both, as a technician and also as maybe a touchless kind of installation. And because it's in the cloud, you can access it anywhere at any time. You can access it via mobile. You can access it via your tablets or PC, wherever you can get internet connectivity. You can log into the Nebula Control Center, configure, monitor, look at alarms, alerts, and have complete remote access to the configurations and what's going on that network. And you can manage all of your clients under a single pane of glass. So you have an organization view that gives you information on your different customers, and each customer can have different sites. So maybe you'll have different hotel chains, or maybe different restaurants, or like retail chains, and maybe each retail customer has multiple stores. So you can manage all that within the same system. You can organize that. You can get the health information of the different organizations or in individual sites. And you can see here, you can get a real-time summary on what's going on the network, how much bandwidth they're using, who's using what, where they're going, how much power you're using on the PoE if you're utilizing your access points with our switches. So really it kind of gives you an overview of that. And also be able to look at the devices from a troubleshooting standpoint, be able to drill in to see who's connected, what access points they're connected to, maybe even their signal strength. So you can see here, maybe it's a little small here, but you can see the signal strength of that device at that particular time. And so you can use that to troubleshoot, hey, do I have some areas, maybe everybody who's connected to this access point is showing really low or really bad signal strength. Maybe it's not in a good place, or maybe I have to install another one in that area to provide better coverage. Or you may see, hey, the majority of the people who are in this office, there's 15 people on the same access point, and none of the other access points have anybody. Again, there may be a situation there that you can then put an additional access point to do some load balancing. So again, it's all active management capabilities, because you have the information at your fingertips to be able to look at that and get some insights on what's going on as well. How much traffic's being poured through, how much PoE power is being consumed. Again, all that information at your fingertips, so that you can make an educated a management function to be able to provide these services to your customers. And then of course, we offer a very aggressive partner program. It's free to sign up. And when you sign up, you immediately start at the silver tier. To maintain that tier, you just have to provide qualifying sales of 6K in that 6-month period. If you want to go to the gold tier, which gives you the maximum double-digit margin capabilities, you'll enjoy the best margins there. That you need 12K per 6-month period. So that's only 2K a month when you break it down. And when you're thinking about maybe firewalls, switches, and access points, and some subscription services, that's pretty much like selling like one or two solutions there, and you'll hit that 2K very easily. On top of that, if you've already seeded a lot of the customers out there with USG products, you have the potential of earning a lot of that even in the recurring revenue side of things. So we have some customers who are just gold purely because of their recurring revenue, because they've sold a lot of USG firewalls out there in the field, and their recurring revenues from those subscription services are coming in every month that qualify them for the gold platform. Now, you can always, when you start on that silver tier, typically we will evaluate you for a half-year period. But if you exceed and you accelerate to let's say 12K in the first month, you can basically jump into the gold tier like right away. We will move you up. We won't move you down if you don't qualify, we only will move you up if you qualify quicker, right? So we partner with D&H, Ingram Micro, Synix, and Wave right now to provide you these products and services. And if you have any stock issues, or if you're looking for product, we do drop ship as well. So if maybe the certain distributor doesn't have that product in stock at that time, you can always work with your sales rep. Make sure you contact your sales rep, and we will find a way to get the product if we have it in our local warehouses. That is what we are about. So that's just a quick hour. I was able to get through all these slides in 58 minutes. But if you have any questions, this is your turn to ask. I know you may have some questions maybe later on, so feel free. You can send me an email, try@zycel.com. That's TRI@zycel.com. And feel free to send me any questions. I can always forward it to the appropriate people. Or if you have any questions on certain topics, let me know. Or if you have some ideas on topics you'd like to know more about that Zyxel provides, or maybe can provide, send me a message as well, because I'm always looking for topics that you are all interested in listening about or hearing about and joining me with. So if there are no questions, I hope you have a great rest of your day, afternoon. Hope you have a safe time, and happy holidays, and happy new year to you if we don't get to see you before then. And thank you, Chris. Thank you for that comment. It's always fun to be able to hear from you, and also be able to chat with you and share with you some of the information. You know, I've done this for now, I guess 21 years. I've been at Zycel for 16 and a half years. And so a lot of, you know, these ideas, I've always wanted to, you know, open up a lot of side businesses, because a lot of those ideas that I've thrown out today with the kiosks and the hospitality charging of nominal fees and using our hospitality gateways, I've always wanted to do something on the side like that and just be able to let it run, right? Because for me, from a mathematical standpoint, which is what I majored in college and things like that, is how to find that as being a way to really make revenue very easily. And it was very, you know, conservative numbers that I threw out there. But you can imagine if you even got a take rate of twice that, you'd be making $1,200 a month on just selling $2 services per day, right? You have the hospitality, you have the customer, you have the technology available to be able to make all those work. So again, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. We have some more tech talks scheduled out there. So definitely go to your VAR portal and check that out and sign up for those new webinars coming up. Until then, my name is Tri, and I thank you for being a Zycel partner. We look forward to being your networking ally. We'll see you again soon.